For millennia, the Western Abenaki people have called this land home. They have loved and cared for this land. We now have the privilege of gathering here as a religious community. Let us do so by honoring this legacy of love and stewardship. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jim Finney. My pronouns are he, him, and I am today's worship associate. On behalf of the entire worship team, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining via the live stream, we deeply appreciate your presence and fellowship this morning. Since 1864, the Unitarian Church of Montpelier has been a sanctuary for those seeking spiritual sustenance as well as peace and justice in the world. Today, March 8th, is International Women's Day. A day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. International Women's Day also marks a call to action, encouraging everyone to stand up for women's rights and gender equality. Today is also an all-ages service, a beautiful reflection of our multi-generational community rooted in love. Children, we welcome and love your ideas, your wondering. We welcome and love your energy and your enthusiasm. Caregivers, thank you for inviting us into this blessed time of your lives. We're here to help you raise children rooted in love and our Unitarian Universalist values. To everyone, if you need to get up and move around or move closer to the front to hear a bit better, we encourage you to find ways to support your worship experience. In the back of the sanctuary, you'll find our soul work cart. It's filled with materials for both children and adults to engage both minds and hands. Let's welcome our families and each other with a smile or a wave or a thumbs up. Every one of us is the embodiment of our vibrant and growing community. Great. Thank you for sharing these warm greetings. You're invited to continue your conversations after the service during coffee hour downstairs in the vestry. It's always a pleasure to have newcomers and guests join us for worship. If this is your first or second time visiting and you wish to do so, we invite you to stand or wave so we can offer you a special welcome. Thank you. We're glad you're here. All newcomers are invited to complete a welcome form at the hospitality table downstairs in the vestry so we can connect with you and welcome you more fully. Hearing assist devices are available at the rear of the sanctuary on the table. If you need to step out for any reason, you can also watch or listen to the service downstairs in the fireplace room. If you have a personal concern and would like to share more deeply, a member of our lay pastoral care ministry team will be available here in the sanctuary after the service. This morning, our lay pastoral caregiver is Dawn Evans. It's a joy to be part of such an engaged community. For a comprehensive listing of church news and upcoming events, please consult the weekly e-news published each Friday morning. Here are a few highlights. All parents and caregivers are invited to join the parent and caregiver meetup after the service today at 11:30 downstairs in the fireplace room. Childcare will be provided along with lunch for the kids in the children's chapel from 11:30 to 1. Don't worry, we'll have snacks for the adults as well. We hope you and your family can join us after the service today. Youth in grades 6 through 12 are invited to attend the Pi Day Youth Con next Saturday, March 14th. That's 314. 3.14. Pi Day, okay, we got it. This day-long event will take place at the UU Church of Nashua and will feature workshops, games, art, music, and youth-led worship. 2 of our youth group advisors will chaperone our UCM youth, and we still have room for more youth to join. Please have your adult contact Caitlin for more details and to sign up. And finally, we have a guest coming to the pulpit, Bronwyn Fryer, to discuss the UCM Talent Show and Pizza Party this Friday.
Where's that stool? That's it? Too short. Oh, the UCM Talent Show is a very fun talent show. It's a very nice talent show that you ever did see. And if you want a good talent show, try the UCM Talent Show on Friday night in the vestry. And if you like eating pizza, who does like pizza? We all love pizza, and it is free sort of. And if you want to eat pizza, try to eat a lot of pizza. At the UCM Talent Show, I'll see you there.
Thank you, Bronwyn. If any of you didn't catch the lyrics, I don't know if you had the details in there, but the event is this Friday, March 13th. That's 3:13. Everyone's invited to join in the fun from 5 to 7 downstairs in the vestry. And if you have an act you've been itching to show off, you can sign up now through this Thursday, March 12th. Just contact Bronwyn. Her email and phone number are in the e-news. And now, let's make sure our cell phones are silenced, take a deep breath, and enter more deeply into our time of worship. The prelude this morning is Lament for the Death of Henry B. Kite, written by Kenric. It remembers Kim and Kenric's great-great-grandfather, who immigrated from England in 1829. He died during the Battle of Fair Oaks in Virginia on June 1st, 1862. And at this time, we'd like to invite all the children to come up and find a special spot here so you can watch up close. So come on up and find your seat.
One, two.
We have some children
Let's
who are still
wait.
coming.
Okay. All right. One, two, three. One more. Oh. Hi.
Look, 2 more.
Hi.
3 more. Oh,
Oh, wow. Hi. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Yeah. Good to see you all. All right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
I'd now like to invite you to join me in saying our opening words for today's service. The words will be projected up front, or you can find them in the maroon book in the pews, number 26. I invite you to respond with the text in italics. From our separate joys and struggles, we come here to find the peace of balance, to find the blessings of restlessness. All are welcome. To follow, to lead, to teach, to learn. All are welcome. To join the dance, to catch our breath. All are welcome. To receive generously, to receive gratefully. All are welcome. If we are steady and composed, if we feel completely lost, if we don't know what we are feeling, this community has a place for us. Here we matter, and we are loved. I invite you now to rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn. It's in the Teal Hymnal, number 1009, the Meditation on Breathing.
Singing the melody, and then you're welcome to join the melody or keep singing breathe in, breathe out, whatever you prefer. And if you know that top line that usually the sopranos sing, you can start singing that too, or keep singing whichever line you wish. It's really up to you, whatever you're most comfortable. Here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. 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 When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Everybody together on breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in,
Let us now light the chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. This morning we welcome Janet and John Poten, along with their daughter Laurel, to light the chalice. Over the, over the years, John and Janet have been involved in many activities and committees in our congregation. They are currently active with the Holiday Fair and Monday Community Lunch. Janet is also a member of the Women's Alliance. Interestingly, it was Laurel who first introduced her parents to UCM. While on her own spiritual journey in high school, she attended YRUU conferences, gatherings of Unitarian Universalist youth, with a friend. And through that experience, discovered this congregation and brought her parents along. Today, Today, Laurel stays connected by regularly tuning in to UCM's live stream services from Oakland, California. All right. We light this flame, an enduring symbol of our collective commitment to lead with truth and compassion. Now let us join our voices in saying these words of affirmation, adapted from L. Griswold Williams. Love is the doctrine of this church, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant. I'd now like to welcome UCM member Liz Keenan to the pulpit. Hang on.
All right, I'd like to welcome all children, families, anyone who would like to get a closer look and listen as we tell our time for all ages today to come on up and join me on the chancel now. Hey, Clara. Hi, Genevieve. Emmy. All right. Okay. Go. Do you want to help me plan? Hi, Phoebe. All right. And let's get Quinn. Quinn, let's get one for you too. Hey. There you go. Clara, do you mind handing out the leaves for me? Thank you. All right. So, welcome everybody. We are handing out leaves for people to be helpers in our stories today. And we have so many children and families today here, I think we're gonna have multiple types of leaves, okay? So during our story today, when you hear the words, it kept growing, you are going to raise your leaves. If you don't have a leaf, you are going to grow like a plant with your hands, okay? When I say it kept growing. All right, so has anyone ever heard of the word resolve? Has anyone heard of the word resolve? Yeah, Lucy. To keep going, not giving up. Have your mind set on it, exactly. So it's deciding that something matters and keep trying at it even if it's hard. And that's our monthly theme this month. And today I'm going to share a true story about resolve. It's called The Garden That Grew Too Much, okay? And that's where all the leaves come in here, okay? And let's see. Let's do one practice with our leaves growing, okay? So I say, it kept growing. Oh, okay, very good. Yes, this is great. This is perfect for this story. Thank you, everyone. All right, so let's begin. So when I was a little girl, my mother's family built a cabin on a lake in the woods of Maine. During the summers, my great-grandmother, my great-aunt, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, all my cousins, and my family would stay there and gather together during the summer. It wasn't a fancy place, think lots and lots of bunk beds, but to me, as a young kid, it was the best place on earth. And so there was this little garden outside my grandmother's window. And it was basically like a thick bed of pine needles, and it had this one plant growing up in it called Lily of the Valley. And Lily of the Valley has little white bells and big broad leaves, and as it came up through the ground, I just loved how there were these delicate flowers and then all these pine needles around it. And it was really just a sweet little garden. So my grandmother had collected a bunch of stones from the woods. They were like those big round ones, you know, that are super smooth. And she put them all around the garden. And she was trying to protect them from all the parked cars, because there was a lot, the rope swings and the makeshift rope swings, and then the kids running and biking around all the time. And it wasn't much of a garden by anybody's standards or any gardening standards by any means. But it was clear to my grandmother that this little garden mattered, and it deserved love and care. And so when I moved into my current house in Vermont, a couple decades later, like a long time later, I decided I really wanted to take care of the flower beds. And I thought, how hard could it be? If you garden, you know. And the first thing I did was pull up all the weeds that spring after the snow had melted. And I was like, wow, there's so many weeds. And I pulled and I pulled and I pulled. And I was feeling pretty accomplished in my weeding. But later that summer, I noticed there were lots of holes in my flower beds. And I realized that instead of pulling up weeds, I had pulled up a whole bunch of flowers instead. And I was heartbroken. And if I'm being honest, I am still a little heartbroken about that. So I stopped planting anything for a while. And then I started to notice something growing. These beautiful little white flowers that reminded me of the lovely Queen Anne's lace that lined the dirt road by my family's cabin in Maine. And I was so excited. One bloomed perfectly at the base of that apple tree. So if you can picture, it was this apple tree, and then there was this one white, beautiful little flower at the bottom there. And so I took a picture of it, and then it kept growing. Yes, it kept growing between the hostas by the tree. And then it kept growing over by the tiger lilies. And it kept growing over by the raspberry bushes. Nice job, everyone. And it kept growing in the irises, and it even kept growing in the thicket all the way across the driveway. Yeah, okay. So you get the picture. We have lots of these growing up. So I did a little research, and I realized it wasn't Queen Anne's lace. It was a plant called bishop's weed. If you know, you know. So I was determined to take care of the flower beds, though. So the first summer I sprayed the bishop's weed by the tiger lilies with vinegar. It all withered, and I thought it was a success. But by midsummer, it was back, and it kept growing, pushing all the tiger lilies right out of their home. So the next year, I moved on to the raspberry patch. And I dug up all the bishop's weed and their little tiny rhizomes, which are like these little roots that are under the ground. And you have to get every little tiny last piece, or else it will grow back. So I sifted the soil for hours. But by the end of the summer, it was back, and it kept growing all over the raspberry patch. And I swear, it was bigger than ever before. So the next year, I pulled it out of the irises as best I could. And my neighbor even came down with pallets and a tractor, and we covered the whole big area of the thicket across the driveway. But you can probably guess, it kept growing, right? So at this point, I had to admit, this plant had some serious resolve. It just kept going. And truth be told, I felt defeated. So last year, I did nothing, and I just watched it grow everywhere. But here's the thing. I still believe that caring for the land matters, And even though I didn't do anything about the bishop's weed last summer, that belief has stayed with me. And this past winter, in the space of having no idea what to do about bishop's weed, I read a book called If Women Rose Rooted, written by the ecofeminist and mythologist Sharon Blackie. She explores how women have long had a deep and ancestral connection to the land, and how reclaiming that connection means truly belonging to a place, not trying to control it. It's wisdom many traditions have always known. She writes, it's a contract, or kind of like a covenant, you see, between people and the land. You care for it, and it cares for you. So I've been thinking about what it means to have a real relationship with land, one rooted in mutual care, not in trying to control it. I learned that the name bishop's weed most likely comes from medieval monasteries in Europe, where the plant was grown for food and medicine. As someone who has been drawn to monasteries, it made me wonder, perhaps we belong together. So now I'm reading about how to make teas and salads with it, and what to plant alongside it that it will like. I've even started thinking about how to greet it when it comes up this spring. Welcome, great to see you. So this is what bishop's weed has taught me about resolve. It doesn't mean powering through and forcing what you want. That did not work. Sometimes resolve means being open to learning a different way, especially in our ordinary, everyday lives. And it's not just gardens. Maybe it's a friendship that's feeling hard or isn't going the way that you hoped. Or like learning something new that's not as easy as you expected, like reading, riding a bike, or trying a new hobby. Or for adults, maybe it's caring for someone you love through something long and hard, or learning to care for your own body and well-being in ways that you never anticipated. So this year, I will try again. And though I have no idea what the flower beds will look like, or what my relationship with bishop's weed will be, I trust resolve will teach me something important and help me keep growing. You want to do them? Yeah. And after all, my grandmother taught me, it's not what's in your garden that matters, but how you love and care for it that does. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining and being those growing weeds plants today. All right, thank you. If you want to come up and put your leaf back in the basket, that would be great. Yeah? I love that, thank you. Yes, sorry about that. Yes.
I remember.
What?
I remember when you were like putting the bricks on top.
Right, you remember, yeah.
I wish you gave one to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you had great hands going on there. I saw them. All right, Daddy's gonna help you, okay? Thank you. Yeah, sure.
I'd like to invite Liz Keenan to the pulpit. She's a UCM member and a board of this month's Community Pouch recipient, Good Beginnings. And she's going to share a little more about their work.
Good morning. Thank you for the chance to speak today. As I was introduced, my name is Liz Keenan, and I am on the board of Good Beginnings of Central Vermont. Good Beginnings was founded 35 years ago by 3 mothers in Northfield. They had noticed that there were many families going home with new babies without the kind of support that once came from extended families and communities. They started something simple: mothers visiting other parents and caregivers, offering companionship, encouragement, and a helping hand during those early postpartum months. That spirit continues today through our Postpartum Angel program. Volunteers visit families weekly, providing a listening ear, practical help, connection to community during what can be a very vulnerable time and overwhelming time. We also offer peer support groups, caregiver and parent workshops, baby wearing support, and financial assistance if needed. I was especially drawn to Good Beginnings of Central Vermont because of my own experience. When Aaron and I became new parents, we were living in a different city, far-ish from family, and those early months could feel really isolating. And I often think about how meaningful it would have been to have something like a postpartum angel come in those early weeks, someone to just check in, lend a hand, and remind us that we're not alone. At its heart, when I learned about Good Beginnings, I was so impressed that this kind of support existed here. And it felt like such an important way to strengthen families and community. And that's what motivated me to get involved. At its heart, Good Beginnings, it's about neighbors supporting neighbors and making sure that no parent or caregiver has to navigate those early months alone. It's really a simple idea, but it can make a profound difference for families. Thank you.
The act of giving is a spiritual practice as important as any other element in our shared time of worship. Our generosity is a form of love. Our gifts freely given help us to practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation. Each month, through the UCM Community Pouch program, we share part of our collection with an important church fund or a community organization aligned with our values. Half of our cash offerings this morning will go to Good Beginnings. The other half will directly support the mission and ministry of this congregation. If you wish to designate your entire offering to Good Beginnings, please indicate so with a note attached to your cash or in the memo line of your check. Checks will go to the church unless designated otherwise. You can find the offering pouches at the end of the pews on the side aisles. Please pass them toward the center aisle. We are thankful to each of you for your generosity in its many forms. Your offering will now be gratefully received. This morning, the choir will sing Bambelela, which is a Zulu word that translates to hold on, hold fast, or never give up. It's a powerful South African phrase often used in songs to encourage perseverance, strength, and endurance during difficult times.
Thank you for that, choir. And thank you to all of you for the financial gifts which you have offered so generously this morning. They are a way that we take our resolve to love and care for one another and our community, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values and to make that real in the world. Thank you.
And I'll invite us now to join in a time of meditation and prayer. This is a moment in our service and also in our day and in our weeks to slow down, to notice our breath, and to connect with that quiet place inside each of us. And so let's begin by taking a slow breath in and letting it out. This is also a time for listening to our hearts, for noticing what is bringing us joy and what might be causing sadness or pain. First, I invite you to gently bring into your awareness any situations that are breaking your heart right now. It might be something in your own life, something happening to someone you love, or something happening in the world. The loss, grief, and challenges in our lives are worthy of our attention and our compassion. As you call these sources of heartache to mind, I invite you, if you feel comfortable doing so, to wrap your arms around yourself. Just give yourself a gentle squeeze. You can hold yourself softly or even squeeze your arms up and down. This is one small way of reminding ourselves that we deserve care and kindness too. Sometimes the weight of sadness or frustration can feel really heavy in our bodies. And moving our bodies can help us care for ourselves. And so now, if you are able and comfortable doing so, I invite you to stand or remain seated if that feels better, and just shake out your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your legs. Let that heaviness move and loosen. Maybe take a good breath in and out. Let it out. And now, remaining standing or be seated if you'd like, we turn our attention to the beauty and the goodness around us. Even in difficult times, there are still moments of joy and delight. The seasons are changing. Spring is on its way. The days are growing longer. We have friendships and community. You can look around. Hello to the people on the live stream. We are reminded that we are not alone. And for all the gifts of this life, we give thanks. So I invite you now to plant your feet firmly on the ground. And if it feels comfortable, you might reach your hands up in gratitude or place your hands gently on your heart. Maybe do a little of both. For the hurts of this world, may we be held in love. For the gifts of this life, may we give thanks. For the quiet wisdom in our hearts, may we listen and follow. You can be seated. And now we will share in a few quiet moments together. In the quiet, you might listen to your breath, offer your own silent prayers, or simply rest in this moment. Most of us have intentions for how we want to live and to act. Some of my intentions are quite small. I intend to keep the bathroom counter as free of clutter as possible. I intend to take at least 8,000 steps a day. These intentions matter, and they take effort, and some days I need more resolve to fulfill them than others. Kids know something about resolve as well. Maybe it's finishing up your chores before playing, or practicing an instrument even when you'd rather be doing something else, and just trying again when something doesn't work the first time. Resolve is that quiet decision we make inside ourselves. This matters, so I will keep trying. Some of my intentions have higher stakes than keeping the bathroom counter clean. I intend to listen carefully before jumping to conclusions. I intend to be patient when my family takes longer to leave the house for a trip than I'd like. I intend to do what is within my power to challenge injustice. These intentions also matter and take effort. The consequences of not fulfilling them, however, can be much greater. When I jump to conclusions, I might misunderstand someone. When I lose patience, I might say something I regret later. When I stay silent about injustice, someone else may have to carry a burden alone. To maintain resolve, I first have to remember my intention and why it matters. When I remember the purpose behind my intention, it becomes easier to stick with it. When I remember that listening carefully helps people feel respected, I try again to be present. When I remember that patience helps make my home kinder and calmer, I take a breath. When I remember that justice helps people live with dignity and safety, I find the courage to speak. Sometimes all it takes is asking ourselves a simple question. What kind of person do I want to be in this moment? On any given day, there are people like you and me in this community and all across the world who are demonstrating resolve, and many do so while facing extremely difficult circumstances. Someone whose story I recently learned and whose courage and persistence I find remarkable is a woman named Asiye Amini. Asiye Amini grew up in the northern part of the country of Iran, where the mountains meet the sea. She was the third of 4 sisters and lived on a farm with kiwi and tangerine orchards, surrounded by a big family. When Asiye was just 5 years old, there was a revolution in her country that led to a major change in the government. It was a time of upheaval and uncertainty for everyone. As a child, Asiye found comfort in 2 different places, in nature and in literature. She spent time outdoors, observing the world around her. She also loved reading and writing. Asiye began to imagine that one day she might become a painter or a writer, and poetry was her greatest passion. When she did get older, Asiye left the countryside and moved to a large city to study journalism. She was beginning her career at a time when there were not many women journalists, and women were not always treated fairly or with respect in the workplace. But Asiye knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to write stories that helped people understand what was happening in their country. And she worked hard to show her colleagues that she was capable and committed. During this time, Asiye fell in love with another journalist from the same part of the country, someone who also knew the beauty of the mountaintops and the water. They married and eventually had a daughter. And for a while, illness forced Asiye to step away from the work that she loved, but that spark never disappeared. She still felt a strong desire to write and to tell the stories that needed to be told. When she returned to journalism, she often worked late into the night after her daughter had fallen asleep. The CA was especially motivated to bring attention to the treatment of women and girls in her country and to challenge practices that were deeply unjust. She began investigating stories that many people did not want to talk about, stories that some tried to keep hidden. Journalism like that requires resolve. For a CA, it meant asking questions that were uncomfortable for people in power. It meant traveling long distances, knocking on doors, and listening to stories that many others preferred to ignore. In one case, a CA learned about a teenage girl who had been unjustly imprisoned and faced a very dangerous future. Many people were afraid to get involved because speaking up could cause trouble. But a CA decided that she could not turn away. She investigated the case, helped bring attention to what was happening, and helped the girl to leave prison. She was then able to enroll in a school where she could learn to read and write and imagine a different future for herself. A CA's work challenged powerful people, and eventually it became too dangerous for her and her family to remain in Iran. She, her husband, and daughter had to leave their home and start a new life far away. Today, Asiye Amini lives in exile in Norway, and from there she continues to speak up for the rights of women and girls, and she continues to write poetry. Most of us will never face the exact circumstances that Asiye Amini has faced, but her story reminds us that resolve often begins in small places. It begins when someone decides to keep picking up the pen, to keep asking questions, to keep finding ways to help. Resolve is not only for journalists or activists or heroes in the history books. It shows up in ordinary life, when we try again to listen carefully, when we choose patience instead of frustration, when we keep a promise we made to ourselves, when we stand beside someone who is being treated unfairly. The same quiet strength that helps us follow through on small intentions can also grow into something much larger. Every day gives us a chance to practice resolve. Small chances, and sometimes big ones. So in the ordinary moments and the weighty ones, may we remember what matters most. And may we have the courage and resolve, day by day, to live in ways that bring greater kindness, justice, and hope in the world. So may it be. I'll invite us to join now in our closing hymn, which you can find in the gray hymnal. It's number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Danya will play it through for us once, and then we'll all join in. Please rise in body or spirit.
our service to a close, we extinguish the chalice and carry within each of us, its healing flame, the warmth of community, and the spark of hope into the days and week ahead. Please join now in our unison mission statement. We welcome all as we build a loving community,
Nurture each person's spiritual journey, serve human need, and protect the earth. Our time together is finished, but our work is not done. May our spirits be renewed and our resolve strengthened as we meet the challenges of the week to come. The chalice flame is extinguished until we ignite it again with the spark of our communion. And the postlude today will be two polkas by Susan Reed with complementary titles, Cat in the Window and Birds at the Feeder. Children, you are invited to come up again if you wish, and also to dance along if you'd like. That invitation for dancing is extended to all.
Just a brief note about the titles. I came up with the birds at the feeder, but Kenric came up with cats at the window.
Hey. You have everybody? Everybody who wants to come up? Okay. All right.
If you change your mind, you can do it while we.
little girl who already couldn't sit still, so she had to start running.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, thanks. There's a couple of your dimes on the floor. I put them on the pew.